Hola chicos, please turn to the third page of your packet. The third page would include the verb charts, including the IR verbs, which was on the last video that you guys saw. It will also include the boot verbs, O to UE, E to IE, and E to I. It would look like this. Okay, now please notice that I have text boxes including all the boot verbs that you should recognize from level 1. For O to UE, we have dormir, which means to sleep, volver, which means to return, almorzar, which means to eat, lunch specifically, and encontrar, to find, and envolver, to wrap. Okay, now let's start with the O to UEs. Okay, we'll specifically select almorzar. Okay, so we would start conjugating by writing almuerzo. Okay, notice that it's this O, I have it bolded, that we change to UE. And then tú almuerzas, él, ella y usted almuerza, nosotros almorzamos, vosotros almorzáis, ellos, ellas y ustedes almuerzan. Now, in case you were wondering, we call them boot verbs because the changes happen within the boot. Okay, so I'll just highlight it here for you. And just take notice that the nosotros and vosotros does not receive any change whatsoever. Okay, now this would include this change for dormir, volver, encontrar, and envolver, which is in that text box. Okay, moving on to E to IE boot verbs. Alright, now I have them listed here. Cerrar, which means to close, empezar, to begin, entender, to understand, pensar, to think, preferir, to prefer, and querer, to want. Okay, and we'll go with conjugating preferir. Yo prefiero, tú prefieres, él, ella y usted prefiere, nosotros preferimos, vosotros preferís, ellos, ellas y ustedes prefieren. Okay, once again, the changes happen within the boot. Okay, moving on to E to I verbs. We only have two, and that's pedir and servir. Pedir means to ask for, and servir to serve. Okay, so we'll just do servir. So yo sirvo, tú sirves, él, ella y usted sirve, nosotros servimos, y vosotros servís, ellos, ellas y ustedes sirven. Okay, and once again the changes happen within the boot. Okay, now I'm also going to include the verb hacer, which is directly under the E to IE verbs. Now hacer means to do. Okay, now this one is not a boot verb. Okay, so it's yo hago, tú haces, él, ella y usted hace, nosotros hacemos, vosotros hacéis, ellos, ellas y ustedes hacen. Okay, now I'm going to put a star next to hacer, and I highly suggest that you do the same. One of the common mistakes that many students make when answering questions with the verb hacer is to answer with the verb hacer. I'm going to give you an example. ¿Qué haces después de la escuela? Okay, now what this question is simply asking is, what do you do after school? Now keep in mind, when this question is being asked to you in English, you would most likely respond, I walk home, I play video games, I practice sports. You don't use the verb to do in your response unless you're saying that you're doing homework. The same applies in Spanish. So, ¿qué haces después de la escuela? Yo, and then you follow it with the verb, the actual activity that you're completing. So for instance, I'm just going to say I practice sports. Yo practico deportes después de la escuela. Okay? Now keep that in mind. You would only use the verb hacer in responding to a question like this if you're saying that you're doing homework. If not, you actually use the actual verb, the activity that you're completing. Alright, in class we're going to do a lot of practice with answering questions with the verb hacer, so we don't make that mistake of using the verb hacer in our response. Okay? If you have any questions, please come to class with them, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Hasta luego, chicos.